Two down, one to go.
Yeah. So that's what kind of makes it so interesting. So like you see that every now and again, if you actually look at even the actual surroundings here, the actual linings of the walls, they're all stitched as well, and they're like clearly recent as well, which just kind of makes it more fucked up. Um, but yeah, it's all very nice little bit of detail, a little bit of world building there. What I'm basically saying is like this is what happens when you drink a Yakult, and the good bacteria work for you, and the bad bacteria doesn't. You know?
Hmm. Oh, an Actimel.
Yeah, this is essentially how Actimels work.
Hmm.
Oh.
And now we have the white blood cells are attacking us again now.
Oh, okay, so
Here you can probably see them coming now. There they are. Yeah. So you see now they are possessing the Vortigards there, and some of them are attacking us because they're being manipulated.
cool.
So there you go. That's just
So what are we saying? These white blood cells were in the real world, were invisible in the real world. So the Vortigards
no.
were always completely innocent of their actions.
Well, no. These guys did spawn in one part of the facility. If you remember, there was like kind of like a corridor between two buildings, and then one of the big boys kind of spawned, but these ones kind of floated around and started chasing some of the guards away.
Mm.
We only saw them once, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yes, they have always been there in a way. But like I said, it's only come apparent now that these are what their actual function are. And I think, to my credit, are one of the last enemies to be introduced in this game.
But again, then what is the crack with them in the original? Like, if none of this section happened in the original.
Now that I'm not too sure. I would assume that at least some of this is in the original game, but like I said, the level is extremely short. Like even
Yeah.
the walkthrough, like so in the previous part of this, which I'm sure people are bashing their heads over listening to back, is us getting really confused over the layout of like Half-Life compared to the Half-Life to the layout of Black Mesa, and like I said, the chapters are extremely really short. It says go here, go there, go here, go through here, done. And it's like that's extremely short for each level. Then you have your mini boss Garnark, then you have a mini boss or your level here, and then you're basically into
Hmm.
the finale, which is nuts. You know, it just seems like um like a
That's,
different beat compared to this.
yeah. No, I think this like I said, I'm glad we've gone through this. We've gone through and gone through in depth with this game. Um, it's all about the meat shields you made along the way.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, but when you were talking about the kind of the remake thing there, so the reason I'm going for the original version of Blade Runner is that when limited run games, I think it was limited run games. Let me just double check that to make sure I'm not
Mm-hmm.
giving them a bad name for no reason. I'm sure they're bad enough as it is. Uh, remake. Let's see. The enhanced edition. Yes. Now, who was responsible for the West? What did he? Okay. Yeah, so basically, the enhanced edition was done by Night Dive Studios, and they are known for doing a couple of these. So they are not part of the limited run games group, but they have done. They basically said, okay, we're taking a couple of these games that we know are basically kind of lost to the annals of time,
Yeah.
and we're basically like remaking them. So for instance, Night Dive did the remake of the remake of System Shock. So the game that was released in 2023, that was one of their works. Other remasters they've done would have been the likes of the two Doom games. They've done that this year. They've done the Quakes. What else they done? The Turok games as well. So they're all that's all what Knife Dive does. They just basically make remakes of them. Now the
Oh,
problem was
by the way, Doom is on the cheap. The Doom Eternal, I think, is on the cheap for Switch.
oh, okay. I didn't even know it was on Switch. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's news to me.
For Black Friday.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. But yeah, so like if you actually just look up some of the images, I assume people have done comparisons between the two versions of Blade Runner game. So the the Blade Runner game is in that kind of awkward spot of like games where like everything was on CDs and everything was FMV, and FMV has kind of proven to be a particularly tricky thing to port to a digital form. Good old games, thankfully, do have a very good rip of the CD of Blade Runner. Steam's one is all right, but it's a pain in the hole to record. So the enhanced edition is meant to be like a console friendly version of it, and it's just not. It's the graphics are appalling. It's particularly bad. Um, like the ends where like when you see the original like game and see how like detailed and like adequately blocky it is, the enhanced edition is not that. It is substantially worse. Everything is chunky. Everything is pixelated to God heaven, and it just does not look the same at all. Looks upsettingly worse. I think they tried like a new UI as well, and it just didn't work. So you're better off just sticking with the original. And again, that's quite a shame because like it's a game like FMV games are such a rarity in a sense. Like they have their own unique style and fashion,
Hmm.
and just being able to like to bring them to like a modern gamer is a fascinating project. Is it worthwhile supporting? Absolutely. I think like I believe in the idea of like retaining the media to a certain degree while also giving the option to have a physical copy. So it's nice to have the choice essentially of like okay, which version would you rather want? Um, but as I said, like that's sometimes a choice and a luxury that some games don't have because like there was a point where video games were particularly cumbersome and awkward to play. Um, so yeah,
All the stitching.
yeah. So, this is it. Like, someone's actually built. This is a facility built in something. It's so clear.
Look,
Like
there's the nose.
yeah,
With
that's what I'm
orange.
saying. Like this looks like it's kind of like this is like stomach lining. This is what I feel. It feels like. Um, And again, it doesn't really reflect on the game audio, but like the sound effects of you walking is very clearly like a meaty sound.
Squelching.
Squelching, yeah.
So you're thinking that GTA 6 is going to crash the industry?
Well, I think I think I'm not. I won't say. I don't know if it's kind of crashing the industry. Like I remember having this conversation on a separate series, and I think my kind of point was that basically the actual AAA gaming the side of the gaming kind of industry is completely unsustainable, and and like it has been for some time, but it's come to a head now where like certain projects are being cancelled because they cost too much money. Um, like there's been a few cancelled games this year, I think, because the cost becomes so high. And again, you were in the era now where like if you want to make a game, you have to secure the capital first and then start making it. It's not like a case of where like if you have an idea, you can just start working on it in your back garden. This isn't the we're not at that stage anymore. Or
Yeah,
rather,
like I
mainstream
think
gaming is not like that.
yeah, I think the likes of I remember the Marvel game was being touted as being like the next big entry as a AAA series,
Hmm.
and to what I could see, it massively underperformed.
Yeah.
Um, and like if you are touting something as being the next big thing, that's quite a
Okay.
risk.
I just had a look here now, right? So here's an article here from the website. Not giving you free advertising, lad, sorry, but at the games this year that were cancelled, there was a Star Wars first-person shooter cancelled.
Hmm.
Um, Blizzard's game Odyssey was cancelled. A Deus Ex game was cancelled by Square Enix and because Eidos Montreal went into administration. There was supposed to be a Twisted Metal game this year, got cancelled. Um, Bandai Namco had 5 projects all cancelled this year. Um, Disco Elysium had a sequel called X7 that's cancelled. Um, a Lord of the Rings game was meant to be done this year as well. Heroes of Middle Earth cancelled.
Well, no,
Halo game cancelled.
off the back of Schmiegel a year or two ago.
Yeah, that's the thing. People are kind of shitting it over certain game projects like that, and that's what kind of makes things difficult to even secure to secure funding anymore. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, look,
Uh,
and the film industry has the same problem that
yeah, actually, great comparison.
unless it's a bankable, recognizable name,
Mm.
you're going to struggle to get it through the door.
Exactly, yeah. And that's why that's why it's like the indie game I think always indie kind of game culture always thrives when the mainstream doesn't. And there is kind of a nice little relationship there where eventually something from the indie side makes a transition and becomes so popular that everyone plays it.
Yeah,
Um I think the last time we had this was the era of like Limbo and Braid. And those ones like just like they really the game that everyone played, you know. Um and we had a few others then that come in as well. Talk about yourself, lads. I just have to pop in for 2 minutes.
sure. Casey, I think we've dominated the chat so far. So what have you made of this final level? Like, I swear, when as we had gone through it, I thought like we were round the last corner at so many stages here.
It's pretty much Lord Jabu's belly, but just built up Breath of the Wild style, essentially.
I think that I think Jabba Jabba's belly's a piece of piss compared to this, but like, yeah,
Like, yeah, like that's why it's just so much in it. Like I remember one of the puzzles that 'cause when he was doing the connecting things, one of the nodes he needed was kind of up on a second level, hidden
yeah,
behind like a window screen,
yeah.
and like he just picked it up like that.
Again, I think that's more from being in the driver's seat than anything. Like I know for myself, it's going through the whole rest of the game. Like that there was plenty of times where like since I was driving, I knew I could see what was where and I could target out what I wanted. But yeah, no, like I said, there's pieces to this that I don't see the path that he's taken. But oh, rather, oh
Yeah,
good, but no, um, it's good. It's long. Knowing now, like what I didn't realize was that this was put out piecemeal. Yeah, it makes
Hmm.
sense, and it's good that this is put out over. If this was put out and you get one episode a month or one episode every 6 months, grand, absolutely big plus. But I think it's overlong for a burst of a playthrough. I'd say.
Yeah, let me just see now when the actual development started. Okay, so technically, let's see. So the initial efforts were Half-Life 2 was released in 2004. Oh no, we died. Um, Valve released everything, a lot of their games on the new Source engine. Uh, so that basically there was a remake of Half-Life already done called Half-Life Source. So that's on the new engine, and essentially then so everything kind of like led up to being like mods being made up and stuff like that to help with this thing. Um, then we had so really everything kind of started in 2012. Um, really speaking. So the first standalone version of Black Mesa was released as free download on September 2012. Um, it contained remakes of all the Half-Life chapters except the final chapter set on the alien world Zen, which was intended to rework for inclusion in a future release. Then it became more of a commercial release, so that was the next few years was getting that up to that stage, and the next 5 years were this development of the Zen levels.
Jesus.
Hmm. So bear in mind, this is a relatively small team of of fans essentially,
Mm.
modifying it. So like the the people that made this is the Crowbar Collective, and they all did these out different ones, and they have modifications. So like there's a few other like little bits and bobs you can throw into this as well, including Blue Shift. And that's actually they're actually working on that at the moment. Would you believe they're
Don't put your hand in
as of
that.
this?
Don't put your hand in that.
What was that, James? What was that, James?
Don't don't stick your hand in that.
You can tell he's a. You
He
can
said,
tell that
"Stick your hand in that."
there's the fucking parenting coming out in you now, huh? We'll see how. We have to see what your dad. We have to see what your dad reactions are now when you're playing Half-Life
I have
next. Like,
I
what
have
the
no I have no idea what you're talking about.
fuck? Oh dear. But yeah, like that's so yeah. This like I said, this next bit here took about 5 years production. But again, people working on and off, doing the
Yeah.
textures, design the levels, all that sort of stuff. You know.
You put his hand in it, James.
Oh no, no, no! I didn't put my hand in it. I put my face in it. That's substantially worse.
Oh, that's okay.
Hmm.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that's obviously it's going too
Yeah.
fast for you to even multi try and access that. So you have to find ways around it. But yeah, that whole corridor there of like an assembly line of monsters and chimeras ready to be accessed. That looks like a fun part of the world.
Yep.
But yeah, uh, going back to what we were saying there, like so, like you've seen a rake load of these games kind of getting shit canned because it can't get the money up. So when you basically have like, unfortunately, Grand Theft Auto or Rockstar is an industry leader. So what they do, and like most kind of video game, like most of video games really kind of follow the leader to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So like whatever the biggest like company are doing, people tend to follow or do something similar. Especially if something becomes a great success. That's why everyone makes sandbox games because GTA worked so well. That's why people make battle royale games because like
Fortnite or whoever
Fortnite
before
so
Fortnite.
works out.
Team
Well, yeah, I
Fortress
think it was
2, I
like
guess.
well, yeah, Team Fortress 2 was always a big one. Counter Strike, and then you had like Battle on the what was that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds or whatever it's called.
Yes.
Um, that was one of the kind of forebears for that. And then you had Apex Legends, and you had all these different ones come in. So like, everyone kind of follows the same trends. Um, so the fear would be that like now it's at the point where like if you wanted the game to be uber successful, you have to pump in $1 billion to it. That's a dangerous precedence for a lot of people to follow because what does actually happen when if a game project like that doesn't actually land when the anticipation is so great and so big that no matter what they put out it's going to succumb to its weight of expectation you
So
know
I kind of think counter to that.
Mm.
Um, GTA 5 has been a cash cow for them for a long time.
Absolutely, yeah, about
That
10 12
GTA
years now at this
GTA
stage.
5 turned into GTA Online has
Mm.
been a cash cow that they have been able to milk for over 10 years.
Yeah.
Is it 10 years?
Oh, more. I think
Yeah.
it's 11th 12th year. By the time that GTA 6 comes out, it'll probably reach 12 years of his life.
Yeah. So whatever investment they put into making the engine and whatever they put into making the game of GTA 5, that gave them 15 years of capital.
Mm.
So yeah, you're looking to get people to invest in, but like you're looking at when it comes out. Again, you're talking about setting something up as a too big to fail kind of model.
Yeah.
Um, but eventually it will make its money back.
Mm.
So how long? I don't even know now for the PS3. Are the servers still running for PS3 at this stage?
I shouldn't think so. I think a lot of the servers have been discontinued for the PS3 at this stage. PS4 certainly yes, because like I think the majority of people still play PS4, because the PS5s have been so like far few and far between. Um,
In all
like I think
honesty,
that's actually
I have my PS5 and I have barely used it.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like it's the same thing. That's like, there's nothing to play on it. Like there's nothing on the PS5 that you can't get on the four, and like realistically, you don't really feel the benefit of having a console like that. Now that's the same on the Xbox side as well. Like, is there any reason to get one version of the Xbox over the other? You've kind of reached a peak in terms of technology there, which
Yeah.
is why obviously next advancements will be the headsets. Excuse me, sir. Do you mind trying to work here? So
Uh,
fucking rude.
Oh, that was a long road to get that all lit up.
But now look what's happening outside. Like look at the sheer amount of. There we go.
yeah.
Security down again.